Welcome to another episode of This Week in Metropolis. I'm Matt, and that is James. On this episode, just the two of us, which feels quite good. I like it when it's a little bit intimate with me and James on the show. Yeah, just one of those things. This week, we've got a special themed episode about AI, which has been inspired by me watching Megan recently. So we're going to talk about AI and all the things that are available for you to try out. So yeah, but first, James, where can they find us?
Well, as usual, Matt, they can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch live this evening. If you are watching, get in the comments tonight. Tell us your thoughts on everything we're discussing. And you can also listen to the show probably tomorrow onwards, really, unless you're living in a country where tomorrow is today. God, that sounds a bit AI, doesn't it?
In the future. Unless
the
you're living in the
future.
future and you've listened to it already.
Indeed. But we are on all Spotify platforms as well, including Spotify. Did I just say all Spotify platforms?
All Spotify platforms, including
all Spotify
Spotify.
platforms again, and Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer. There's another one. Good Pods. Check them all out. Stitcher. God, there's so many. Where will it ever end?
Or if you send us a DM, we'll actually, and with your address, we'll actually send it to you on cassette tape if you wish.
We'll come round to your house.
Yeah, and recreate it for you in person.
Yes. But until then, it's time for this.
The latest pop culture news with your hosts, James and Matt. Welcome to This Week in Metropolis.
Hello.
Hi. And we've got to, just an apology for last week. We've got the music at a decent level. It went a bit party mode, just for a second last week, didn't it?
Yeah, it's too hot to party in this, to be honest with you. Although saying that, it's still quite cold. Still quite cold, especially in the evenings.
It is. It does get brutally cold. But let's not talk about the weather. We're not that kind of show, are we? Let's spice it up a bit. And really, the whole reason for this episode, and you would have hopefully seen our 1 minute review of it, was regarding Megan, which was a film that I saw the trailer of and thought, do I want to watch this? What's it all about?
Everyone was talking about it as well.
Exactly. And I think like visually, her as a doll looked a bit unsettling, and that was probably the appeal. And especially when you watch the film, you can tell when it's a close-up of the face, it's CGI.
Yeah.
But they actually used an actress to be the doll when it's walking around.
Yeah.
And I think that looks even worse because it's sort of really rigid and just sort of this weird, uncanny walk as it's going around. But
would you say it's like a modern-day Chucky?
No, see, that's why I was surprised. But that's the thing. When you've seen the advert and when you've seen a bit of Megan on all fours, like going through the forest and that, you imagine it's this killer doll, like, and this horror sort of thing. But what they try to achieve is a little bit deeper than that, because it's about I won't spoil the plot too much in case anyone wants to watch it, but it's about a lady who's an engineer and she lives by herself, not married, doesn't have a partner, and overnight she finds herself in a situation that she has to look after her niece. So she becomes a parent overnight and doesn't really know what she's doing. So she relies almost like she's so used to working, she neglects the girl a little bit. She sort of, will just leave her with an iPad or whatever, and doesn't really know how to play and doesn't really know how to interact. And the only way she realizes, she starts showing her the niece what she does, and she works for a company that makes like Furbies. If it's a toy company, and there's like these little Furby like talking animal things.
Right.
So she as a side project has been developing Megan in the form, and it's at the beginning especially, it's a bit like, if you remember RoboCop, where you've seen the scenes of you're looking at the people like screwing bits on and that, it's like that funny sort of view. It's
right,
like
yeah.
And
First-person view.
Yeah, and that's it. It's as if like you're seeing what the robot's seeing. There's lots of that sort of stuff. But because this is a project that she wants to work, she uses her niece. Like, she uses Megan to interact with her niece, but equally she's using her niece to develop this thing so that she can propose it to the toy company. Right. So a lot of it in the beginning is a bit of a moral sort of thing in terms of parenting. There's lots of bits. Now, I'll be honest, and I'm sure you'll probably relate as a parent. There are lots of things that I saw, and I was sort of thought, oh yeah, I've sort of been in that situation. Like if you've given your child an iPad or a games console and they've been playing it, and they've probably been playing it for a bit too long, and you say, oh, it's time to come off now. Like, no, but I'm doing this, I'm doing that, like that, kicking off. And there's lots of every day, isn't it? That's it. And there's lots of conversations. It's a bit of a mixed film. It tries to get on this sort of, is technology wrong? Are we parenting through technology and things like that? And then you got the odd bit of killing mixed in there. Because Megan gets
many people. Aren't we killing enough?
Should we let robots kill people? There's a bit, one scene. There's and this didn't really spoil much. There's a neighbour next door with a dog.
Annoying
neighbour, and the dog runs in their garden, like poos everywhere and that sort of thing. And eventually, and this is a bit of a spoiler, Megan jet washes the woman to death, which is quite entertaining. Yeah. Brilliant.
And I loved, just for the viewers and listeners, how Matt started that whole part there by saying, this isn't really a spoiler, and then he got to the main bit and went, this is a spoiler. That's
a spoiler.
Yeah, maybe
I'm not spoiling anything else though. With it, but it's worth a watch. Like, it's not, you're gonna watch it and it's not the best film in the world, right? But there were bits I laughed at. Like there were bits that there's some slightly emotional things, because she does exploit the girl to a certain degree. Like, the girl's been through a very traumatic thing, and she's demonstrating this doll to the toy company, and she's really exploiting her. Like, and she knows it, but she knows it's to her advantage to do it. And when the girl's crying and things like that, interacting with this doll. Right. But yeah, it's worth a watch. Give it a watch, and I think you'll be really surprised as to your expectations in the film versus what it actually is, because it's quite a different sort of thing.
Is there any relevance in the story as to why her name is, because it's spelt Megan, but it's a 3, isn't it, backwards?
It's an acronym, and I can't remember what it stands for, but it is something. Yeah, it's
right.
Something version 3, whatever. Is why it's called Megan. Yeah.
And a sequel's been confirmed, hasn't it, already? I think we shared the news about that.
Which they do. They clearly sort of, it comes to its end, but at the end, it's clear that they wanted a sequel because of what they did at the end. It sort of just lines it up.
But I don't think they'd necessarily had like a high budget for the film. I think it's one that's kind of surprised how well it's been received for a horror movie, if that's the category that it's put in.
It is very apparent it's got a low budget. Not in the special effects, it's not like
it wasn't like She-Hulk.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything like that weird sort of no, it wasn't. It doesn't look budget, but if you've ever watched budget horror movies are fine because it looks a bit crap, but it's entertaining crap. There's some bits that are like that. And there's a very limited cast. You can tell, like, there's only a few people in it, and it's just budget for that thing. But I mean, would you, like, if you had the opportunity to, like, because I watched this and I came up to my conclusion as to whether I'd want an AI assistant in my house. Would you ever consider that? Because you watched, was it Humans?
I was
What's that
literally just
called?
thinking. I mean, if I had a Gemma Chan robot, much like they did in Humans, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Bring it on.
Lovely girl. She's got a great personality.
She'd just sit there. You'll look at her.
I'll just stare at her. No, not in like a weird way. She's a robot. But it's funny. We posted last week, didn't we? If you could have one of your daily tasks, chores, whatever, taken care of by AI, what would it be? And the response was quite similar in the sense it is just kind of having someone to do them nitty-gritty
really boring jobs
like
you don't want to do.
Hanging the washing out, and I've got a tumble dryer, but not everything can go in the blooming tumble dryer, which is really frustrating. The washing up, I remember being, I can't remember how old I was when my parents started making me and my sister, who's a couple of years younger than me, start doing the washing up and drying up and putting away. And we weren't allowed to go back out and play with our mates and play football or tag or whatever we was doing until that was done. And them sort of things. But then I think, I've got 2 kids, so it won't be that long, and then they can do it. I mean, your boys are older. Do you get them to do the chores around the house?
We try, but it lasts about a day, and then that's...
Kids have got it too easy now, though, Matt. Don't you think? Like, I think, I'm not saying I grew up a pauper, but, it was... We had to kind of do them little bits and pieces to help around the house. And I don't know, I think they've got it very easy now, kids. They literally just click their fingers and I want a drink. What? Sorry? Do you know what I mean?
Drink. Yeah.
Feed me. Like, get up and sort yourself out. I'm on my phone.
One thing that I loved that Megan could do is there's a bit where the girl gets hurt. She's got sort of a hurt hand, and Megan can look at her and say, "Oh, yeah, your temperature's fine," and whatever. It's like those sort of situations where I think the woman says, "Oh, it looks like you got a bit of temperature," and then Megan goes, "No, the temperature's all right. There's nothing wrong with her now." Something like that, those sort of diagnostic thing. Brilliant. But
that makes me think of Baymax.
I was about to say, as I was saying that, I was thinking of Big Hero.
I'd love Baymax.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he could fly you about.
That's the sort of AI robot I'd have.
Friendly, not something that might kill you.
I don't feel the same way about it as I do Gemma Chan robot. So it's.
There we go. Thank God.
That'd be awkward if the wife came home and caught me with Baymax.
Well, anyway, moving on.
Let me just quickly say hello.
Let's do a roll call. Definitely.
Yeah, little shout out to the people that have kindly come and spent their evenings as they do most Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Standard. We've got Shane from Dawn Comics. Spread them, people. It's Tuesday night. Yes, it is Tuesday night, Shane. Unfortunately,
no spreading tonight.
No. It's that time of it's not that time of the month. It's we've got no guest shown, so it's just me and Matt.
Just us.
We've got Martin from Sonic's Comics. Evening all. Hello, Martin. Hope you're well. And our good friend Peter, Triple G Comics. Evening, chaps. Hello, Peter. Hope you're well, mate. Comic lad Simon is with us this evening. Hey, guy. Guys.
Which one was he talking to? Do you think the first time? And then it got a bit awkward. Yeah.
I mean, it's awkward. Does he know our names? That's probably the awkward thing. Hey, guy. And then just went, guys? Our lovely guest from last week. And what a laugh we had last week, by the way. We've got Doctor. No, she's not a doctor yet. It's Connie Dalton. She's in the house. Hello,
and can I say, Connie, I've been a bit lax with this, but this envelope has stickers in it that you won by winning the anniversary spread, and they will be out to you, I promise.
Unbelievable. We've also got Highland G, the non-relation to Triple G. Hey everyone. And
Triple G's son. Let's start that rumour going.
And Comic Lad Simon says, not watched it yet. Yeah. And he's also added to, if you could have, I'd have R2D2 over a Terminator.
R2D2 or BB-8, a droid. Like a droid would be awesome. Just have it doing
BB-8,
stuff
yeah, that was cool.
just around the house. It'd be incredible. So yeah, but what I thought, because we can talk about AI and stuff in the sense of Megan, but there is actual AI stuff that you can do now. So a bit like, I don't know if anyone watched, well, people did watch it clearly, but if you remember the episode we did where we created music by AI and we did it live, and I thought that was a bit of fun.
And that track, just to remind people, is still available.
It's still available on Spotify.
We're gonna get it to number 1 this Christmas.
We Are Twim, and I can't remember what the song is called. I Love Matt Healy, isn't it?
Still
it's
do.
Still on there. Yeah, it's about up to about 2 listens right now. So yeah, check it out, definitely. But yeah, well, actually, let's just comment on a comment. Comment led silent. Chat GBT is incredible. I've been using it myself. There are parts of the show a bit later that I used, created by ChatGPT. So yeah, check it out. But back to what I was saying, I thought, let's make a picture. Let's make a picture together using an AI, which I absolutely love. Now, there are 2.
And sorry, Matt, just say, are we using the same one that you used to create this week's cover art for the show?
Yes. So this week's cover art, that's a very good point. This week's cover art is inspired by Megan, and it's used, but I used an AI called MIDJOURNEY, which is something you access through Discord. I've got the links. All the links are in the bottom of all the stuff we're going to talk about. And a really clever thing you can do is you can reference a picture. So in that instance, I just copied the URL to a picture of Megan from the poster, and then I said what I wanted that picture to look like. So I gave it the Megan picture, and then I said sinister, robot, cyborg, something like that, those sort of things, and then it generated that picture.
Okay.
So from scratch-ish. I think the way most of these things work is they feed it every picture that they possibly can, but they use and tend to sadly use a lot of overseas workers to actually tag the pictures. So it'll be, I don't know, they'll tag robot, cyberpunk, aesthetic, and like different things on the pictures so that it knows what the certain things look like, and it sort of stitches together almost a lot of things. But what I wanted to show you first is the difference between different AIs that are available. Oh, and typically I haven't uploaded the picture, have I? Let me see if I can just quickly.
Well, while you're looking for that, Matt, there was some AI photo editing stuff going around. Was it Lensa? I think it's the app that was doing the rounds, and I know it kind of ruffled a few feathers with artists because it kind of, does creates things,
using other people's work. Essentially, is what it is.
But we done some trials. So I know you shared some really cool pictures of some that came out with you, and I don't think you're a keen artist, so it's not something that you're doing to kind of spite artists that are out there. It's purely just to investigate, isn't it? But
exactly.
I was just going to say the funny side of this was when you asked me to send you some pictures of myself, all clean, and the results came out quite dirty. That's all we will
awful. The thing is, and it shows you that with how that works is it gets a picture that they've already got, and then it gets a picture of you, and what it does is tries to combine the two. Yeah. And with what you find with Lensa, as long as you're like not smiling and you're looking pretty like safe in terms of you're not doing anything too crazy, it can match it quite well. James having a beard and his mouth open, that just ruined it for Lensa, and it just
I didn't get the memo about not expressing my face.
He broke the AI is what he did.
Maybe we'll share some of them at some point, but
But there's, I just wanted to show you. There's, and this is part of what you'll see later. Is MIDJOURNEY is what we're going to use in a second.
Okay.
There's also another one which is called DALL-E, DAL-E, and which is made by OpenAI, which is the same people that do ChatGPT, which is the text-based thing.
Yeah.
I just want to show you a comparison to. This was the same input that I put on there, which was Snoop Dogg and as a cyborg and sort of futuristic robot were the sort of terms I put in. So if I show you this, so on the left is DALL-E, which you can see what it's trying to do. It's trying to sort of piece all these different things together and has made this sort of fairly basic picture. But then on the right,
MIDJOURNEY.
I don't know how MIDJOURNEY do it, but the results are absolutely incredible.
That is stunning.
You can see in certain places though, I don't know if you look under his like non-robot eye, there's like a red sort of bead thing. You can see in certain places there are little artifacts and sort of inconsistencies where it's tried to do things but it's not quite got it right.
Still looks incredible though. Comparing the two.
The difference is incredible, and the fact that but even with both of those, they were like 30 seconds, and it does this thing basically. So let's give it a go. All right, everyone in the comments, have a think. Let's see what we're going to create. So James, what keyword would you say you want to put into the mix for this image?
As in, are we picking someone or
anything? Like literally anything that
I mean,
you
I'm
want to
thinking
put in there.
it could be to regenerate the track that we made and then have a different cover art. It could be Matt Healy, but is it going to find Matt Healy?
We can put Matt Healy as a search term in there. I'm going to pick chicken just to really mix it up and see sort of what we've got in there. But let me, first of all, let me share.
Can you share your screen?
How do I forgot how I share.
Present?
Click present. Oh, there it is.
That's my one. Here, guys.
Screen. And there we go. Right, okay. So can everyone see that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm doing, can't you? So ignore the picture there. That's for something that I did previously, which we will actually be sharing at a later time. So this works in Discord, and James, you talked about Discord last week, which is just like a basically it's a chat service. With this, you're talking directly to the AI, so it's like a chatbot that you're talking to, and all you do is you press slash and then imagine, and I don't know whether you can see when I start typing things, it does give me a couple of options at the bottom. So I just I'll click imagine. Blend is a really cool feature. You can actually take two images and blend them together, which is something I've done for, and James has got the pictures. We're gonna post them a little bit later.
Be this week. Yeah, be this week.
Healy and
have you put Matty?
No, I haven't. Is that an important
I think his name is Matty Healy.
And is Healy spelled right? Healey?
Drop the E. I don't think there's an E after.
Matty Healy, chicken, and have we got any suggestions in the thingy? No, we haven't.
We have got one. Highland G has said, I would try and break it with commands.
Arms and legs swapped. Nice. Arms.
Is that easy to do?
Legs swapped. Well, you can just type in literally sentences like that. Arms and legs swapped. You can give it what style, like for example, James, what art style, because you can tell it things like that. Or you can tell it like I watched a tutorial where you can say like a director or something like that. You can tell it things as a visual sort of reference point as well. So it could be
I have no idea.
Cartoon, or it could be a digital art, or it could be an oil painting, or it could be.
Let's go digital art.
Digital art tends to give quite a nice thing. Let's just go with those and let's see what we get. So I just press enter, and then it will say there waiting to start while it tries to generate it. And what MIDJOURNEY does, it generates 4 pictures for us. So you can actually choose which one you want out of the 4, or you can get it to, there we go. So you can see it's already started doing it. You got the little 4 pictures in in the corner, and it slowly does it. The little percentage comes up, and 93%, and then it should be done any
That
second
is so
now.
quick.
There we go. So if I open that up, if I open in browser, you're not
Are
really
you
going to be
able
able to do
to
it.
quickly download them, and then is that possible?
Yeah, I could do.
And get them on the big screen. So I am intrigued because I can just about see.
You can just about see them, can't you?
Yeah.
So let's bear with me a second.
I mean, while you're doing
Okay.
that, just to point out, that is so impressive how quickly that done that.
Yeah, it is very, very quick in terms of how quickly it creates something from it. Which I think with this one is the most impressive thing, like the results that you get with that. Let me. I'm just gonna.
Is this a free application, Matt, or have you got to pay? Or
it's free for a limited sort of amount of things. You get a certain amount of credits, and I think it's like you get 20 credits, and that's 20 goes. Essentially, it works out that sort of thing. So as long as you've got a Discord account, you can register for MIDJOURNEY and you can play around with it, and it's free to use. If you then want to use it more, it's I think it's $12 a month, something like that, and you can pay monthly. You don't have to do it. So let me share. There are the images that it's created.
Wow.
So it's a fairly decent likeness of Matt Healy. It's not the same, is it? But it's.
I know, but you can tell who it is, like who it's trying to
tell who it is, can't you? The one with him as a chicken body.
Yeah.
I quite like personally.
Top left.
Yeah, top left.
Yeah.
I think he's
top left is probably my favourite. And actually, the one to the right of that I think looks pretty cool because you have to kind of do like a double take of it to see what's going on.
So there we go.
There we go. Well, I mean, that in comparison to, the Snoop Dogg one was off the charts.
That was brilliant. And it is what we could have done. And with that, I actually put in commands, but I could have actually gave it, like I did with the Megan thing, given it a picture of Snoop Dogg and said, do this, this, and this to it, and then it will do it like that way as well, which sometimes is quite good as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we've had another couple of things on there. Can we try the art style of manga? Would it do something like that? Do you think?
Yeah. So what we can do,
I'd almost do if you could. Shane has put Dwayne Johnson chair leg kicking art style Michelangelo.
Right, so let's do another one then. Let's do a quick up one because they don't
use all of Matt's credits while we're here, guys.
They don't take long. It's fine.
We're here till about 10 o'clock. Get all your suggestions in. Matt,
so if you see, just as a side note, we're under those 4 pictures. You might not be able to see it on the screen sort of clearly, but there's U1, U2, U3, and U4, which means upscale. Right. So it counts 1, 2 at the top, and then 3, 4 at the bottom. Yeah. So if I clicked one of those, it would then generate a larger resolution version of that particular picture.
Cleaner.
Yeah. Alternatively, in the V1, V2, V3, and V4 is variation, I believe. So that will just change. It will create a variation of that particular image. So just to do Shane's, Dwayne Johnson. What was it? If you read chair leg.
Kicking. And then it says art style Michelangelo.
Which you'll have to spell for me.
Michelangelo.
There we go. Let's see what that gets us. Oh, I didn't do thingy, did I? Apologies. You have to remember to do imagine.
Imagine all the people. There you go.
Beautiful.
No one's had to pay for that.
Oh, and the application did respond. What?
Oh no, we've broke it, guys.
Oh my God, Shane, what have you done?
This is what happens with live shows. You can never tell
Exactly.
what's gonna happen.
You can't tell, can
You can never tell.
you? Waiting start. There we go. It's working.
Right.
For the listeners, let this sort of thing be a lesson to you. You need to watch it, I think, because this is could be a bit like us drawing Mario. It's a bit not great.
Out of interest, I'm intrigued to know how many people do still listen to the show rather than watch, because I feel like we've probably, we
A
have
much
kind of-
larger percentage watch now, don't they? But it's fine. Maybe it's a case of when you're on the bus having a listen to it. Why not?
Like Connie. Is that what you're talking about? Connie?
Like Connie, exactly. Connie's trying to reduce her screen time by watching, by listening rather. Well, it's having a think, isn't it? I think is what we're
Basically, Shane, you've broken the matrix.
Yeah, exactly. It's all over. No one can use MIDJOURNEY anymore because of Dwayne Johnson. I don't know.
Shane
Well,
Johnson.
what I'll do, let me let that run. I'm just going to let that run. I'll stop sharing the screen, and what I'll do is I'll upload a little bit later. I'll upload the results.
Well, no, listen,
You
man.
can see.
Come on. We forgot. Like, this is a perfect opportunity while that's working in the background to mention. It's that time of the week again where I can't believe it. Like, how we have so many friends on the nights when we do the show who are celebrating their birthdays today on the 31st of January.
It's
And
almost like they plan it because they want to shout out. I think it's the thing, isn't it?
it's a bit ridiculous, and I'll be having words with them all. Two of our good friends are actually celebrating their 41st birthday today, and wow, they are such lovely people. First shout out to our good friend JT, where you at, my friend? It's your birthday today, 41 today. Can you believe it? Favourite Justin Timberlake song, Matt? Go.
Cry Me a River, maybe. I'd say.
Cry Me a River.
No. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. Do you know what's my favourite? And it's a favourite because I remember many a night out, me and you singing this, Senorita.
I knew. Well, that was what my pick was going to be from you.
Yeah.
Mine is actually "Sexy Back."
Nice.
And
Yep.
story from that is in Kavos, where I met my wife. That song was the main song, and there was me and another friend of mine called James, and he was called Best James, and I was called Sexy James, and that was linked to that song.
Wow.
Random story. I'm not quite sure the point of it, but anyway. Also, 41 today. No, God, this young lady, 41 years young, like JT, also likes to go by initials. It's the JC. Gemma
Can't
Collins.
stand that woman. Absolutely
What?
can't stand that woman. Apologies
She's probably watching.
if you're listening.
She's probably watching.
Yeah.
Bless her. From our old neck of the woods in Essex, bless her. And last but by no means least, one of our oldest friends. Not as old as who did we have last week? Neil Diamond was.
Neil Diamond's 208 or
92.
something, yeah.
But no, it's our good friend Johnny Rotten himself, John Lydon.
John Lydon.
66 today. 66. Do you like the Sex Pistols?
I absolutely love the Sex Pistols.
What's one of their songs?
Huh?
Tell me one of their songs. I can't even think of what one of their
God
songs.
Save the Queen is probably one of their...
It's King now.
That
isn't
one, yeah. No, our national anthem they wrote.
it? What, they wrote that?
Yes. Anarchy in the UK. There's loads. But, yeah.
There you go.
They
Happy
are
birthday
brilliant.
to you guys.
Well, I can tell you, Shane, that the moment has come.
Oh
So,
God, I'm so pleased we had that small interlude.
Exactly, the interlude paid off because the goods have been delivered. Can I just say that the kicking part is the bit that it's run with, I think. Here we go. Have a look at my personal favourite is the one with Big Dwayne Johnson and Little Dwayne Johnson sitting on the chair. What's going on with that one?
They're amazing. Amazing.
And for what has happened to his leg on the number one, he's got a really nasty lipoma that pimple popper needs to get removed. I think.
Is that a chair leg for his leg?
Oh, maybe.
Because that's what I think.
Oh, right. See, that's where the chairs have come from, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
That is brilliant.
Awesome. We will post those so that you can see. I'll upscale all of them as well, so that we can have
use all the credits.
I'll use all my credits up on that.
Minions.
Exactly.
Hey James and Matt, you have one new message.
Thank you.
Oh.
Have you froze? Am I on my own here?
Hey James and Matt.
Oh, what happened there?
Matt, you have one new message. Hey James and
Oh God, Matt, video voicemail. I need to service that, I think, because it's all over the place, isn't it?
Just press play, mate.
Exactly. Let's see what the message is.
Hey, my G, Snoop here. Matt asked me to make a song for ? That he wrote with ChatGPT. I have uploaded it to the studio so you can hear it. See you homies. For shizzle.
There we go.
Oh, guys. Right. Can I just say, I had no input in this. This was all down to Matt. But wow.
There we go. So I was a bit cheeky with sort of Snoop. There's a service, which again, I'll link down in the description, where the whole point of the service is you can make it read things. And it's for people with people with dyslexia and things like that. It's a lot easier to read text, to listen to the text, and you can sort of increase the speed and bits and pieces like that. However, they've put certain voices on there as well. So a lot with what I'd say with a lot of these AI things, you can do really cool stuff with it, but it's not always the case that you just press a button and it does it for you. Like with that thing where he says chat GPT or whatever it is, you have to think about how you're writing it and how it says it. But one of the voices they've got on there is Snoop. So I thought, well,
what are the chances?
What are the chances we can get Snoop to say stuff on our show? So what I did, I used Chat GPT and I put in there, write a theme tune for a song, write a theme tune for a podcast section called ? So it did that for me. It wrote all the lyrics, the verses and stuff like that.
Right.
I then went on to Boomy, which is the site we've used before for the music.
Yeah.
And I got it to create some music as a backing track. And then I fed it into Snoop, and Snoop said the words. So prepare yourself.
Drum roll, please.
A complete AI song. Here it goes. ?
He's on a quest to find the answers that are the best. He'll interview guests and take on a test to bring you knowledge that's second to none. ? Always on the hunt for the facts and figures, never to front. He'll leave no stone unturned. He'll always confront to bring you the truth. That's what he's done. With a mic in hand and a notebook by his side, he'll delve deep into the topics that divide. He'll give you the lowdown, the ins and the outs, the stories behind the stories. Without a doubt, he'll leave no stone unturned. He'll always confront to bring you the truth. That's what he's done. So tune in and join the ride as ? Takes you on a journey inside the world of knowledge, where the answers reside with ? You'll never be denied.
There we go.
What the hell?
Can I just say, I think Snoop is, or Chat GPT is somewhat overselling Mark's input into this show. You know, he's beating him up, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a struggle to get him to do a question these days. You know, he's a busy guy. He's a teacher, so busy guy. I'll say no more.
But there we go. So that was a result of, like I said, the things I said before. But then there's a site which, if you've ever done a training course at work or something like that, where you have someone standing there and they're talking sort of about, what HSE or whatever the thing is that you need to learn. There's a site where you can do your own version of that. And you can use their own avatars. They've got all these avatars set up, and you type in what you want it to say, and it says it. Or what you can do is upload your own pictures, and it creates your own avatar. So yeah, that's what I used for that, and I fed in the audio of Snoop talking, and it did it. So yeah, there we go.
I think from where we started talking about AI to where we are now, all of that coming together like you've just done is incredible. And yes, some of it is questionable.
Yeah, and
But
like you
how
saw the
incredible.
way it was moving.
Yeah,
If it was just like the head, it would be fine. It'd look all right. But because there was all that stuff going on, but the reason I had to use that and not a picture of Snoop is because as soon as I uploaded a picture of Snoop, it was like, not a chance. We know that's a real person. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Which is why I had to use the AI generated picture of Snoop. So yeah,
But it all links. It all links.
Yeah.
And the fact that, forgive me for saying this, Matt, but you're not a professional reface engineer or AI tech engineer or anything like that. The fact that you've been able to do that from the comfort of your own office,
using free stuff. I mean, like everything that I've used, you can do for free. The thing that animates the mouth and that, you can get a free trial and you can do up to 5 minutes and upload your own picture and create your own sort of thing. The only exception, the Snoop voice thing, I just did a free trial on that service and it allowed me to use Snoop and things like that. So yeah, I've linked everything down in the bottom. Have a play around with it. That Snoop video, it took editing of the music to put it in. It took editing of Snoop's voice to make it fit to the music and things like that. So there was a bit of post-production, but everything from the lyrics to the voice to the movement, that's all AI. That was all created from scratch. And I think the quality of the lyrics, the lyrics didn't make any sense in regards to Mark, but the fact you just said to it, can you write me a song about this thing? And it did, pretty well.
Bravo to you, Matthew Porteous.
There you go.
That is King P in his element. That is in his playhouse.
It really is. The way I see AI, and I know it's quite controversial. I think a lot of things. And comic lad Simon, I think he may have put a couple of emojis because it's spoken emojis. But some jobs at risk to AI: computer programming, basic email, mid-level writing, media planning, legal functions, teaching. It's true. A lot of those things are at risk because they, certainly our jobs, I would say, easily at risk. In terms, we both work in recruitment, and it's managing information, it's managing data, and like anything that requires processing the data, definitely, it is really a thing that's at risk. But what I view in the art side of things, and I make my own art and do creative stuff for the podcast. The comparison I have with it, and there's been a lot of, this is a terrible thing. I'd compare it to sampling. In the early 80s, samplers became cheap and available, and people could take big chunks of other people's records and make them into their own records. And at that time, that's what people were doing. In hip hop, you'd take a loop of something and it was blatantly from that song. Now, probably every song in the charts you listen to has sampling to some degree in it. But the control you have and the way it's evolved, you create new genres and you create new things. So it's just those early stages of it are difficult until someone works out how people can get paid properly, how it works and stuff like that. And then amazing things can come with it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think well said.
Well, before we go into news, how about we have this?
Gwyneth Paltrow. Hey there, I'm a big fan of retro gaming, and I was wondering if you had any tips or recommendations on how to get started collecting and playing classic games. I'm especially interested in games from the 80s and 90s. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh my God. Gwyneth
There we go.
Paltrow. Oh God.
Who knew that Gwyneth Paltrow wanted to do, be a replacement for a question mark?
God, that is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Which was, of course, used in the same service as it got Snoop.
Yeah, I feel like at some point during the show, I'm not going to be here anymore, and it will be a AI version of me.
I'm just going to be typing in James's bit, and it will just say it.
Hello, I am James. Contact me at Steely07. Do you know what? Tell me the question again. Something about retro games. Don't play it again because I won't listen.
Okay, can you put the music on? This is really unprofessional, but can you put the music on? Because I don't know which one we put on.
Yeah, of course. Carry on.
However, what she said was she really wants to get into retro gaming because Gwyneth Paltrow is curious about retro gaming, and particularly 80s and 90s games. And how do we suggest that she goes about it?
Right.
There we go. Which, just to add, that question was created by ChatGPT as well.
Wow.
I asked it. I said, put in a section to a podcast called question mark. Please ask a question about retro games, and that's what came out. Right. So that's completely unedited. That's what it proposed.
We haven't come up with the question.
No.
Chat. What is it?
ChatGPT.
GPT came up with that. I mean, yeah. Well, Gwyneth, thanks for your question. I'm so pleased to know that you're a fan. How would you get into retro gaming? Start by getting online, getting yourself a classic console. I mean, a good way to start really is getting one of them mini consoles if they're even still available. I don't know if you can probably get one second hand now. I don't think you can buy them brand new anymore, can you?
I think you can. I was weirdly looking at this sort of thing the other day, and they're quite expensive though. I think they only released a limited amount of them or sold it for a particular time, and they're sort of well into their hundreds now. So yeah.
Because that was, I mean, for me, that was how I got my son playing on consoles for the first time. I had a classic NES, and we were just playing, so basic, isn't it? Like just literally on the D-pad and A and B, and playing kind of Mario and Super Bike or something like that. Excite Bike, that's it.
Which is just punishes you, that game, so much. Like if you get a little bit too quick or whatever on it.
Yeah. And just them sort of games, and I think they're a great introduction into gaming because that's kind of what we had. Well, certainly my generation did.
Yeah.
And even, to be fair, even on kind of modern day kind of tablets and things like that, you can download, like, again, my son plays Sonic the Hedgehog, like the original kind of Mega Drive one, on his Kindle Fire or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's great, and I get really addicted playing because he'll go, "Can you help me with this?" And I'll start playing it. It's just takes me back, but also kind of I was always Nintendo, so I never played on the Mega Drive games unless I was around a pal's house, and so being able to kind of go through the levels, there's levels that I've got up to that I never experienced playing when I was younger, so it's fun doing that with him. So I'd just say that probably, Gwyneth.
The Sonic ones where you had to be underwater, I just thought they are tough, where you have to get the air bubbles so you still breathe. Yeah, I love it. The one thing I discovered this in the past week that I never knew existed, and I love, and I modded an Xbox, an original Xbox, probably about a year or so ago, because you can create them as like an emulation machine. They're amazing. You can stick all your emulators on there, and it runs this thing called Emulation Station.
Yeah.
So I've got every Mega Drive game ever released, every Master System, every Nintendo, like just the lot on there, which I can then easily play on a PC. Play on the TV, sorry. What I discovered is because Microsoft knew that in the past, like particularly in the first generation Xbox, people modded them and people hacked them and people got them to do what they wanted to do. They've released this thing called developer mode, and you pay £20 for it or $20 for it. And it's just an app that you download from the store. And once you've got that, you can load emulators to it. You just like boot it up in developer mode and you can run emulators on it. But the incredible thing that some of the emulators do is, I was watching this thing of PS1, and like when the PS1 Classic came out, I got it and it was a bit crap because a lot of the games of that time look bad. Like that era, sort of mid to late 90s, when they were getting into they were trying to advance the graphics, but they're all no sort of polygon graphics, and they look a bit.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
They look really dated.
Yeah.
What the emulators, or what the particular PS1 emulator can do on the Xbox, is it re-renders all of the visuals using the processing power of the Xbox. So all the PS1 games suddenly look modern. Like it just retextures everything for you. So you've got all these stunning looking games. Like the games look better than they did when they started, but it's still the same game, which I think is, I guess people will say, oh, but it's then not retro.
Yeah.
But I just thought it's incredible. Like it plays, in a way, plays better than it ever did on an emulator, because you've got so much power from the current generation consoles.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be something I'm trying out at some point. Not got around to doing that, but yeah.
Interesting.
Awesome.
Well,
So there you go, Gwyneth.
Try you
them.
enjoy that. And at least she's taking a break from making. Wasn't she the one who done like the weird candles and stuff?
Candles that smelt of her
Virgin
Lady Garden. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you. I wish you all the best for the future, Gwyneth. I'm sure she'll do good things.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Well, Gwyneth, kind of that question and some of Gwyneth's kind of acting career kind of linked to a couple of stories that have caught my eye over the past week. Some very recently, and when I say recently, I mean like breaking news today. And this is superhero related. I don't know if you remember, Matt. Well, you probably do because you're in the midst of watching all the old Marvel movies. But she was in Iron Man 3, and 2, and 1.
And 1.
Don't know why I've come back. And also in, spoiler alert, Endgame. So look forward to that. But yeah, anyway, one of her personal candles blew up someone's living room once.
Wow.
Fully on fire. There's so many questions I've got there, Connie.
How big was that candle? Is what I want to know for it to blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be Googling that. Just
yeah. We'll get that in one of the Twim news posts. Anyway, going back to superhero news. So James Gunn and DC have done their big announcement today, within kind of the last 2 or 3 hours, I think it's been, revealing what the plans are for the DC universe, which is all very interesting stuff. I mean, it's mad to think, again, a bit like Marvel, he revealed probably, I don't know, 10 different things, including movies, TV shows, but essentially it is going to be almost a clean slate as such. And there's going to be crossover. This is where it's all going to link, right? So there's going to be the live action movies, any TV series are going to link, so the stories will all link in. Any animated series is going to link in, and games, he said as well. So big plans. And I guess in a way, I mean, he is like him and the other chap whose name escapes me, Stephen. Someone I want to say his name is.
Let's call him Stephen.
Let's call him Stephen. They are like the new Kevin Feige of DC, and it is that mapping out. Like I can visualize now, like all of Phase 5 for Marvel, and then Phase 6. They're doing that with DC, and there was a lot of the kind of characters and things that they're going to be doing I've never even heard of. They mentioned Batman on 2 levels. So the Batman, the Matt Reeves version of Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, and also Joaquin Phoenix's Joker are not going to be part of his kind of DCU.
Which I think is a good thing, because like, especially in the Joker,
Yeah.
that's it. Just sits in its own sort of place as a film, not necessarily in story, but I think it would only be compromised for it to be fit into something else.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you start trying to pull it into a wider universe, and like we've just seen with kind of Superman and Cyborg and Wonder Woman and all them, it just, I don't know, it just wouldn't work for me. Not with the tone of them 2 films in particular. And I think it's good to kind of keep them. But they're going to be classed in the DCU Elseworlds stories, I think they're referring to it as. Yeah. Oh, God. Catchy. Just call it the Batman, and it's a separate thing. But yeah, so that was quite interesting. I'm just intrigued to see. He has also said that the new Flash movie that's coming out is one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen.
So this is the one
Ezra Miller one.
They're still going ahead with that.
Yeah. I think that was pretty much already done, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing about him, I don't know, kidnapping people and
kidnapping him. I thought it was some sort of robbery or something like that, maybe.
Oh, and that, he attacked people in public. He kidnapped a woman and had their child. And,
but he can run so fast
from the police. Yeah,
you wouldn't even know he did it.
Never catch him.
Yeah, exactly. Are you? How are you? I mean, we spoke last week about Marvel stuff with Connie, but DC, are you happy with these kind of standalone ones? Is that enough for you, or is there particular characters? Were you ever more of a DC fan?
The intro, Batman's always my go-to. So, and I enjoyed the last one.
Yeah,
I think I was. I will just sit back casually and observe. I think is the thing, and see what comes out and see if it works, because largely all of the recent stuff has not really caught my interest, to be honest. I've seen bits and pieces in passing, so we'll see. It was interesting seeing the very small bit that I saw. They mentioned Swamp Thing in one of the announcements.
That was the last thing you mentioned, yeah.
I know the series that was cancelled, wasn't it? It had sort of one season and then they cancelled it. And I think it was quite well received as it was. So I just wonder how that will tie in. But
he mentioned that, didn't he, as well? He said it wouldn't be an obvious pick to be part of this, but he said it will all link. So and contribute.
I've seen probably in last year I watched the really, really old Swamp Thing film because I'd never seen it. Yeah, it's quite entertaining. It's a bit rubbish, but it's quite a bit entertaining story. So yeah, no, it's about 4.
Oh,
but it's worth watching.
I like what Shane said there. Standalone movies are where they should be headed. I agree. I think don't
overthink it. Just make good movies. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Make good TV shows.
Again,
brilliant.
Why does it have to be this big kind of everything coming in? We're all following the same story or whatever. Like, let them be their own. Like, I know in the comics and everything, but are you not just copying exactly what Marvel were doing? Try and be original. Do something a bit different. You can have equally as much success by doing really good standalones. And the Batman, I know some people don't particularly like it. I liked it. And Joker are prime examples of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can't always And the problem with I find the music industry and cinema and stuff like that now is so much of it is based on statistics and what they think people want, and
Yeah.
like streaming stats and like all of that stuff, that you sometimes drift away from, let's just make something cool.
Exactly.
And it tends to be the case that if you make something really cool or like really just different, people watch it. It's
Yeah.
not don't try and think what people want to watch. Just make something that you believe in, and people tend to like it. Is what it is, really. Because all of the films that have achieved success now, or historically, so many of those were sort of, what's the word? And the expectation of them was poor, or people didn't think it'd work, and then it turns into something that people love. And creativity isn't about facts and figures, unfortunately. But yeah.
Indeed. Just want to say a quick hello to Phil from Phil's Nerdiverse. He's joined us. Hey, Phil. And James
You
Tiki.
need to watch back, Phil, because you've missed all the exciting demonstrations.
Yeah. And you, James, as well. You'll love what we've done earlier. So make sure you go on the replay to watch that. Sticking with Gwyneth. Sorry, guys, you missed her. She was on the show as well. Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know if you've heard of her. Well, actually, before I go on to the other bit linked to her, while we're talking movies, obviously we need a weekly update of what movie I've watched as part of my New Year's resolution. One movie, at least one movie every week. It's contentious, this one, Matt.
Go
on. So I put a movie on Sunday night and I fell asleep. Does that count?
Well, no, because you've not watched it. How far into it did you fall asleep as well?
About 5 minutes. But does it count? Does it count if my wife watched it?
And she debriefed you afterwards?
She has debriefed me. So, wanted to watch film. Haven't watched either Knives Out or Glass Onion yet. And genuinely do want to watch them. I didn't fall asleep because I'm bored of it. It was a long day. It was my daughter's birthday over the weekend, so we had a little party for her. So, it was one of them weekends, literally non-stop. But Knives Out, the wife said enjoyed it, really good twists in it. One thing she didn't like, Daniel Craig's accent.
I like Daniel Craig in those films.
You did?
Yeah, I think he's a great character. He's got a deep Southern American accent in it. You wouldn't have known this because you would have probably been asleep by it.
Well, this is true. Well, anyway, that was my film of the week. There has been a lot of football on, and it is transfer deadline day. Have we got any transfer updates? No, let's not. No one's interested.
No one's interested in that. Well, linked to Knives Out, and I mentioned this last week. Poker Face by Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
Which I sort of saw and thought, this looks interesting. Coming off the back of really enjoying Glass Onion. Fortunately for me, I've been really ill for the past few days, so I've had opportunity to watch things. And I've watched the first 2 episodes of it, and I do recommend it. I think it's really different, but this could be a real contradiction. It's really different. However, you can see the influence of someone like Tarantino, for example, in the way that the stories are told. In the first episode, there's even a TV playing Pulp Fiction, so I think it's a real nod to.
I think I've read about that as well. Yeah.
But they show you, so it's about a lady who can tell that people are lying. That's her gift. Yeah. She just knows, sort of from the body language, that they're lying. But you see the crime that's happened first. Right. So you see what the person being killed. It's all about a person's murdered in each one. You've seen a murder first, and then you see what happened prior, leading up to that point, and then after, and she works out why, or how it happens. It's great. I love the main character Charlie, which is played by Natasha Lyonne, I think her name is. It's really sort of quirky character, because she's got this sort of gift, but she's not slick about it all. Like, her life is a mess. She lives in this trailer. Like, she's got all these things going on. She forgets words sort of randomly. She's trying to explain things to people. She's like, no, this, like, she's really trying to sort of work these words out. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. I do recommend checking it out. I'm only 2 episodes in. I think we're up to about 5 they've released so far. Yeah, well worth a watch.
Where are you watching that? What's it on?
I'm watching it on the internet, but I think it's on Peacock. I think it's something like that. It's on the American streaming sites.
Fair enough. And
sorry, you ask your question, and James T. Keegan's just said something I've been meaning to mention.
Okay, do you want to go with that?
Yeah, so he went to see Plane the other day. It was okay. If you don't know what Plane is, it's Gerard Butler's latest film.
Oh, yes, I hadn't heard good things about it though.
Well, I saw an advert for it, and it just his films just get dumber and dumber and dumber. I've found in recent years, like they just get so basic, and it just made me laugh.
This is him and Luke Cage, isn't it? The guy who plays Luke Cage, I'm pretty sure is the dude.
I don't know. It just stuck with me, the fact that he's called it Plane. Like, it's the most basic. What's this film about? Plane. And you know, it just sums up his films.
Plane has fallen. Great shout, James. Great shout. Is it that bad? Have you watched it then, or just?
I'm not watching it. I can imagine it's just the same as all his other films, really, isn't it? He's a bit like he's sort of a poor man's Liam Neeson, isn't he? All of his films are. That's not a compliment, is it?
Wasn't he in 300? He was pretty good in that.
Yeah, but that was probably nearly 20 years ago now, wasn't
that was his peak. Mike Coulter is the guy James T. Keegan said. Thanks, James. Well, the other thing, just before we wrap up, and I won't go into detail because I know you're going to watch it. Above bold. The Last of Us.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen any of the headlines, but everyone is talking about episode 3. I watched it last night. I know James T. Keegan is a massive fan of The Last of Us, and I know he's been doing these reviews of the episode, which are fantastic, by the way. Go check them out because he knows a lot more about it than I do. I'm just sat there watching it. I have played the first game, completed it, mate. But this third episode was incredible. For very different reasons, and I think. Wow, sorry, I just hit my mic. But best episode of television ever made. That's what people are saying, Matt. People are saying it could be at least the episode of 2023. Amazing. And we're just approaching. Well, it's the last day of January, isn't it? So that's mental. But. I won't reveal what happened, Matt, but you need to watch it. And for those that have played the games, it's very different to kind of like the way they've done the story in this episode, kind of in comparison, is very different. So for you who hasn't played the game, it will be kind of that be what you know it as, which I think is great about it as well, because you wouldn't. Not that I was watching it going, that's not what happened, but it's just very well done, very well done. I will definitely check it out. That's what I'm quite excited about now. I have no knowledge whatsoever of the game, so I'm coming in it with completely fresh eyes rather than thinking, oh, it wasn't like that in the game and so on. It'll be good to see. So yeah, it's on the list. I'll the second season has already been confirmed after record-breaking first episode. Mad, isn't it? I think they were going to do it anyway, to be honest. Yeah, I'm sure they will. Well, there you go. Well, that brings us to another end, doesn't it? Yeah, God, it's flown by. Make sure if you've got any friends that you think might find this episode interesting, go and tell them about it. We are trying to, by the end of this season, hit that next landmark, which is 200 subscribers on YouTube. I mean, it's a small pinch compared to some of our good friends on YouTube, but to us it means a lot. We're seeing Instagram's kind of growing very quickly at the moment, it seems. I'm following on there, which is great. So if you are a follower on Instagram, head over here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. But next week we are joined by some of the guys from the Meanwood Brewery next week, or is it Mr. Pints next week?
I think it might be Mr. Pints.
Well,
It's
join us and you'll find
drinking
out.
related.
It is drinking related,
It's
so
drinking related.
make sure if you're joining us next week, get your beers in, get your wine in, whatever it is your tipple of choice. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, same time, same day, next Tuesday, 9 o'clock, next week. Until then, take care.
Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe on your favorite service. Past and future episodes can be found on all major streaming platforms, including Amazon, Apple, Google, Spotify, and YouTube. You can also contact James and Matt via Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. They will return in the next This Week in Metropolis.